Hello friends, I'm here in Bucksport, Maine, and I'm at Buck Cemetery right on Main Street. This cemetery is very unusual in that it kind of has a witch/ghost story. So what we're looking at is the monument to Colonel Jonathan Buck, who was the founder of this town, Bucksport. He lived way back in the 1700s, and it was originally called Buckstown, but they changed it to Bucksport. He was the founder, and as you can see on his monument, this kind of looks like a woman's stocking foot or a boot, but a lady's boot. And the story goes that this image was not on the monument from the beginning, but it kept appearing. So the legend goes that Colonel Buck ordered the burning of a witch, and her leg rolled out of the fire. So either her dying curse or the curse of her supposedly deformed son made it so there would forever be an imprint of her leg on his monument. The curse supposedly said, "Your tomb shall bear the mark of a witch's foot for all eternity." As the legend goes, heirs of Colonel Buck tried to erase the image. They even replaced the monument twice, but it always reappeared. Supposedly higher up on the monument, you can see the shape of a heart. I can kind of see it. It kind of looks like a heart on its side there. So the story goes that the alleged witch might have been the lover of Colonel Buck, who was married, but she may have been his mistress, and when it was found out, rather than confess, he had her killed. A couple things that people point out that might make it just an urban legend. Colonel Buck was a justice of the peace. He really had no authority to try or execute anybody. No witches were ever actually tried in Maine. Maine was part of Massachusetts till 1820, and Colonel Buck died long before 1820. So technically it was still part of Massachusetts, but there was no actual killing of witches in the District of Maine. Buck was born 1719, 26 years after the Salem witch trials in Massachusetts. And that was just his birth 26 years after. So, of course, many years later he would be an adult, so even further removed from the witch trials. This monument was actually erected 75 years after his death. His actual grave is elsewhere in this cemetery, and there's no marks on that one. So likely there's nothing to the boot curse story, but it is really fun to think about. There's actually 3 versions that he wasn't connected to the woman at all, but he had her hung. Another story said he had her burned, and that then her leg rolled out of the fire, allegedly. And then part of the third story is that she was actually his lover, which would be a big scandal back then. This cemetery is actually closed from the public actually walking in. They're probably afraid of vandalism. You can kind of see some of the old stones up there. And normally you can actually walk right up to the edge of the fence. There's a walkway, but as you'll see in a second, it's actually closed for construction. It's too bad because I had hoped to kind of walk up there. And maybe I'll do another video another day. This is the fence. As I walk along it though, I won't be able to actually walk up the sidewalk. That's the parking lot that people normally use. And there's the walkway up to the Colonel Jonathan Buck Monument. You can see the sign. And I would love to be able to walk in that cemetery, but even if the walkway was open, it's locked. Maybe someday I'll see if I can get special permission as a content creator to walk in there, but as of now I can't. And you can just see all those old beautiful stones. I'm not sure which one is Colonel Buck right offhand. I'll try to walk up to the edge. It's actually a pretty small cemetery for what it is, and Colonel Buck has to be over there somewhere. You can see a couple of the older stones in there. I see some of them are around the mid 1800s. Very interesting old cemetery there. But there's the legend of Colonel Jonathan Buck, the founder of Bucksport.